Hello and welcome to the third episode of the Hospitality Podcast hosted by HelloSuite. HelloSuite, as you know, is an end-to-end digital concierge that is transforming guest experience and helping hotels across the world go contactless during such challenging times. Today, we have Chef Sudhir Pai. In his career spanning over 32 years, Chef Pai has worked with some of the best brands in the market, such as Leela Penta, Oberoi, Ambassador Sky Chef, Hotel Orchid, Holiday Inn, and many, many more. His skill sets are as diverse and valuable as they can get in this industry, having conceptualized several restaurants start to end, consulted for top brands, demonstrated expertise in strategy, management, training, and administration, thus making him an authority in the F&B area within the hospitality industry. Thank you so much for joining us today, Chef.
Welcome. Thank you.
The first question that I would just like to start off with, what do you think is the biggest challenge that is gripping the hospitality industry at large today?
See, hospitality industry is all about socializing, okay, and all about getting together, creating that experience. Whether it is food or whether it's accommodation, whether it's city hotels, whether it is resorts or whether it's fine dining restaurants. It's all about an experience where people meet. There's social engagement. But this disease has changed everything. We are totally talking about keeping social distancing. So the word social distancing itself is against our all ethos of F&B, wherein the things which we were doing normally of meeting people, serving them, treating them, and which is all changing. Will change for the next 6 months at least till the vaccination comes in. So there has to be new thought processes. Of course, the hospitality industry with food, accommodation experience can't go away. So slowly and slowly it will start, and there were new ways of doing things will come in order to make sure that our guests are safe. And at the same time, what best experience we can give them,
So today I want to specifically focus on the F&B aspect of the industry, since that is the area of your expertise. So moving towards that, how crucial do you think the sale of food and beverage is in the overall revenue of a hotel or a resort that has been in this industry?
See, in any hotel, it is designed based on the locality. It is a resort hotel, then you have city hotels, then you have boutique hotels. So when the hotel is planned, a city hotel will normally have a coffee shop, a room service, a banqueting area. So the amount of space which is kept away for restaurants and banqueting, the budgets are made accordingly. So in some hotels, city hotels, the ratio of sale of rooms as against F&B is 60-40. 60 is rooms and 40 is F&B. In some cases, it is 70-30. In some cases where the banqueting is very large, with a large wedding halls, it also goes to 60 F&B and 40 rooms. Whereas in case of resorts, it's about 70-30-50. So the ratios are different based on the business setup, based on the categories of the hotel.
All right. Just taking a step back before the entire COVID crisis set in the recent past, how has technology really impacted the sales and management of food and beverage in hotel chains, as you have seen it, evolve?
So the technology has helped us two front. One is the back end and one is the front end. Back end is where all the softwares, all the materials management and the loyalty programs and the standardization of recipes for the people working behind, where everything is digital, the photographs, it's easy to handle, storekeeping, inventory, all that is happening and getting improvised year after year. The front end is like in the last company which I worked for is all about getting the information about guest feedback. In fact, we had a software which collects all the information from all the online media. We used to have a quality meeting based on the feedback. Feedback was very important. It is not the revenue, because revenue automatically goes up if the feedback is right and we have a corrective action for the feedback. So we has to have a lot of quality action where we were explained on what is the sentiments of the guest in terms of whether the product has to be tweaked, what is currently wrong. So we could take action based on the information, collective information, because nobody will have that time to get that information in a particular manner. And that's what technology helped us. All these apps and software helped us to track this sort of feedback and work towards it.
Okay.
The currently what we're talking about is ordering the palm top, ordering a menu. Even that was not necessary because there was engagement of people and everything was there. But when I see, I worked for a city hotel and people wanted everything fast. You know, the hotel which I worked for was already in Mumbai, and we had about 300 people all for breakfast. And the peak hours were two hours. And within that time, everybody's busy on their laptops, and information has to pass very fast. Whether it's information on food, whether it's a car pickup. So imagine the information, it's get delayed. So it's all about how the information moves on. If a guest checks in, his flight is delayed, accordingly the room, accordingly whatever special request he had, how that information goes on to the various department, how the actions can be taken. So I believe technology has helped us a lot to all the challenges of passing this communication, recording this, analyzing this. So it has been a very good tool and a good learning for me, because in the last 5-6 years, I've seen a lot of development in this area.
Okay. Just moving ahead in the same direction, we have also seen that not all hotels have completely gone for an end-to-end technological approach, especially when it comes to food ordering, because we'd still see the usage of mobile phones and all of that. But currently, in the circumstances, do you think because the goal is to reduce physical menu cards and reduce touch points, we'd see a lot more hotels moving towards a complete end-to-end digital food and beverage ordering system?
See, yes, today what had become earlier is, earlier the advice was that every person, whether it's a manager or whether it's a steward or anybody, has to go and meet the guest. How much of engagement you can make with the guest, okay? And that was important because a human touch was very important. And now it has become totally opposite, because we want to reduce the engagement but keep the conversation on, keep our engagement on without physically meeting the guests. So this is a challenge, and for that, this new digital technology is required, because how easily you can get back. You know, if there is a menu card available, how the instead of the steward explaining the menu to the guest, if there's a calorie count, if there can be added small video of how a fish is grilled, what is the calorie count, where does it come from? There's a lot of training required on any product. In the olden days, in fact, if you want to make a menu, when a waiter has to make a conversation with a guest, the waiter has to be trained to inform the guest accordingly, that how, because that's how a product is sold. The waiter is a salesman, the server is a salesman, so he should be aware. So here's a lot of training, and here it's so easy on an app. You can have a menu and you can devise it, you can customize it to your end. If it's a nice resort property, and if the service area is far away from if it's room service, can you imagine if there's a small video where the fish is being grilled and you have a small story about it. So I feel there's a lot of creativity also hidden, which was never explored earlier. With this situation, it's all about new creativity which can be explored and used to, and we can get the same feel where the guest feels happy. His menus can be customized. He will know exactly when to order. He also knows the billing, everything. So I think there's a great opportunity. How creative you can make it, and that is more important. Yeah.
Okay. Another question, at the same topic. Now we see that despite COVID cases still on the rise, travel is picking up. People have to travel because of either business or any personal reasons. So since social distancing will be the norm anyway, how substitutable is this in-person dining and in-room dining? So how much of the earlier revenue for F&B that you would get in person do you think is transferable to the in-room dining and to the virtual method?
See, then it again depends from hotel properties. If it is a resort hotel, there's a lot of space. Today, it's not about the now their training and everything has gone through. People have realized how to take care. Just about 2 hours back, I was watching a video of China of how buffets can be done. What are the safety precautions? What are the areas that every time a person touches the ladle? What are the touch points which have to be avoided? So people exactly know. The F&B people have all realized and trained. So if it is a resort, there's no issue also for social distancing, because they can do the staggering of timing. They can do the areas, what is important, and they can take care of that. But in case of city hotels, it's not necessary there, because it's a very small common dining area. It's a tall building. Many people have to come down and eat. So initially, it will take a lot of time for these restaurants to begin the older way, because the way we used to run it earlier, we used to have a beautiful spread. People come down, people meet, and they'll order. So that will take a long time. Here, there'll be small stations. There'll be a lot of distance maintained. The server will be serving you. You cannot touch the spoon. The lids have to be taken care of. The touch points are all important, here it will be more useful. Room service, but room service cannot create that same experience, because at the end of the day, the food which goes is a small tray. Whatever you get to see is, when you open the door, is a small box of a tray, and you see that food. But when you see with your eyes a beautiful spread, a nice produce display, okay, that cannot be seen. So that is going to take time, till the time the buffets and all that open up. That is going to take time. Whereas in resorts, it might be possible. Again, there's a perception of people, food cannot be left open. Generally, cold food, salad, desserts are all displayed in open environment. Not necessarily, sometimes there's a cover, but during operation hour, they are all open. But now the perception of any guest is they would not like to eat anything which is kept open. Even if an apple is kept there, nobody will pick an apple and eat.
Yeah.
Because I used to see in the olden days, in a busy hotel, the guy just picks up an apple and bites it and walks across. So those days are gone. Nobody is going to touch food till the time they see the seal and they open the seal. So IRD or room service is going to be important aspect for at least next 6 months, And banqueting, room service is a little far-fetched now to come back to normal.
Okay, thank you so much. That's a very interesting take. Moving on, talking about city hotels, we have seen many hotels are tying up with delivery partners like your Zomatos and Swiggies to maintain revenue at least through food and beverage till the time operations open up completely. How effective do you think this strategy will be in the short term and in the long term?
This strategy will not be effective at all for hotels, because this is only for engagement and keeping the kitchen stoves on, because a lot of hotels I've spoken to here in India, they have guest bookings where some hotels, the entire hotel is booked by a particular company because they're quarantining their this thing. And the resort hotels now, yesterday I spoke to a chef, a friend of mine, a small resort, they had 40% occupancy on weekends, because they were all hotels which are car driven. Hotels which are accessible by car, which are resorts, which are a little far away from the city, are the first ones which will get better occupancies. Because hotels which are airport related, like Holiday Inn and like brands which are close to the airport, Holiday Inn, Marriott, which are airport hotels, they will be affected because their business was all international guests or even corporates coming from the airport. So that moment will take a lot of time. So your question was, what was your question again?
Basically tying up with delivery partners to maintain at least
so
F&B
delivery is not a cup of tea for hotels, because delivery partners take away 16%, 20%, 22% of the this thing. There's a high food cost in hotels in terms of safety, a lot of money being spent in terms of really cooking, a lot of large spaces. So the hotel or five-star hotel kitchens are very large, they are built to take a very large operation. The moment it is, and the sentiments of people have not changed. People are not ordering that much, so the volumes are not there. The volumes are not there. Just for the sake of keeping the brand high, keeping the morale of the staff high, they are saying they're already providing room service for the guests. Let's open that and let's try. So I've seen hotels selling food at a very, very low price. Okay, there are large brands. They have started their own. But possibly some brands in South Mumbai, which is city, where they are very high-end customers, and they don't order 1 or 4 dishes. They are ordering total meals for 15 or 20. Possibly that will work out, but yet nothing will meet. There can't be any strategy. What banqueting and conferences, international conferences, nothing can meet that. All these deliveries cannot reach that. It might be not even 5% of that. Okay. So that is not a strategy. That's only to keep your brand on.
Okay. Chef, you touched about pricing, so I just want to probe into that a little bit. Do you think that going ahead, hotels will bring up their prices of F&Bs to make up for the lost revenue, or do you think they would in fact push it down to?
I don't think so. What the hotels will do is they will have to maintain the prices, because everything what I've seen in last 3 months, the ingredient prices have also gone quite high. The retail prices. Now last 3 months are not engaged with any contractual hotel vendor, but I've seen the tur dal, the basic things have gone up. Basic things like rice, dal has gone up. The prices have gone up. Obviously, there's always a price change increase. It happens in October and 2 times of the year for F&B, or once. Depends on the policy of the company. So when this thing opens up, they possibly will not start with the higher price. They will possibly start with the same price. But then there'll be a cutoff where they'll take a decision where there'll be changes in the menu. Large menus will become smaller, and that is the time the price policy will come. So
Okay.
again, it is from specific from hotel to hotel, because the menus are shorter and the inventories are low. If they're able to, because it's nothing to do with the low price. It's the guest sentiments. It's not that people are not coming because of price. Nothing to do with the price.
Mm-hmm.
The price has to be normal, because if you sell something low, because now they are selling because somebody has to buy. A person who does not visit a 5-star hotel at all is also buying from a 5-star through Zomato or Swiggy, because it is a nominal price they are selling at, which any other takeaway or a cloud kitchen is selling. Okay, so that is only to compete with them. But when they sell food in the hotel, it's not possible to sell at that price. So
Okay.
I don't think so there'll be any policy. It will always be normal. Like if the food ingredient cost goes up, they will raise a bit, about 5% of the pricing, and they will start the new menu.
All right. The last question I have for you today is quite a broad question. Any closing remarks you might have, any advice that you have to hoteliers with respect to managing their entire F&B operations in the COVID and post-COVID era?
What I feel is the last 5 months, what hotels are doing is they're exploring a lot of new ways of doing things, how to cut down on costs. Because the future to sustain is so difficult, because next 1 year, like I said, the basic products like banqueting, marriage, wedding was a very great product. We had a separate budgeting for wedding. There was separate sales manager for wedding,
Mm-hmm.
because there was separate segment altogether. Most of these hotels are separate segment. So what will happen to that? There won't be any revenues from there. So what they will have to decide is how to merge, how to have multi-skilling, okay, how to reduce the stations, right from reduction without affecting the quality, and the safety points have to be increased. Because there's a friend of mine who works for Hilton in Maldives. So he's talking about the amount of money they have spent on PPE kits, masks. I said his budget has gone up only on
Okay.
hygiene. He's in charge of the hygiene. So the
Mm-hmm.
hygiene budgets have gone up because he's in charge of hygiene, not only in F&B, of every guest checking in, the sanitizers, the constant wiping of those rooms. So there's a huge amount of changes which are going to happen, which you can't do anything about. You have to have that to give that safety to our guests. So realizing that, what will happen is it's all about costing. How the staff reduction will happen. People are not there. They will not hire people. Of course, there won't be increments for the next 1 year. That is going to be difficult because there's no sale. Increments will be not there. So it's all about how innovative you can do, how you can cut wastages, how you can cut cost, without affecting the quality, without affecting the standards, without affecting the experience of the guest. Okay. So that is very important. Something which is unnecessary. There are a lot of things which are unnecessary in hotels. They have people keep doing it because from years they are doing it. Some sort of a flower arrangement, maybe. Okay. Maybe it's useless. So now when there are not so many people, so they will possibly have points, because every department is given a responsibility of which are the areas. So they have constant meetings, which are the areas where you can cut without getting the experience affected. It is not necessarily staffing everywhere. It is about the scheduling of production, scheduling of cooking food. You make food whereas last minute you do things instead of keeping things. In hotels, because the business is very busy, there are semi-finished products. There are semi-finished cooking products which has a shelf life of 3 days. So they have to be thrown out if they are not sold. So all those things, ways of working, using some ready-made products which have a longer shelf life, So all those new strategies will have to be applied in terms of multi-skilling, reducing of counters, shortening of menus, and reducing of trip to room. The amount of trips a server makes to the room. Somebody asks for a glass of water, somebody asks for a nail cutter. How you can reduce your trip? You can have a ready kit for the guest, where everything is there. The cost of kit might be cheaper than the number of trips going up and down by the server. Because in a 5-star hotel, every time you have to serve the guest within 3 minutes time. If you want a nail cutter and a matchbox, immediately it has to go up. So possibly there will be a nice kit there, or somewhere on the floor itself where the kit is given. Maybe the cost of kit is lesser than the amount of expenditure spent on hiring that person to deliver. So just an example. So a lot of thought process to be given is where you can reduce that movement, the traffic, and the staff.
Okay, so sanitation and efficiency seems to be the need of the hour. That's the call from Chef Pai today. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing all of your insights with us.
Pleasure talking to you and having me on the video. Thank you.
Thank you.